pieces. So this is a very important moment for us at Reporting 3.0. Probably one of the last times that we're using the word Reporting 3.0. Oh. Oh, formerly known as, maybe. So we want to use this and, just in the next 15 minutes, take you through our thinking about a development that happened or started about a good year ago, where even some of our steering board members in steering board calls said, your name sucks. That needs to change. And we said, well, okay. And I was first like, I know where we're coming from, so it's also a recognition of this past where a couple of us who come from the reporting field really started to rethink what is actually necessary for a green, inclusive, and open economy. And let me take you as a little bit of nostalgia, let me take you a little bit through that. It is actually a journey of 6 years of progression towards thrivable transformation, as we now very often call it. The work around the blueprints, the transformation journey blueprint, very much hinged towards the idea, so this is not just about reporting anymore, this is very much about transformation in the end, if you take it serious, because that's the challenge that we are heading to. So it all began in 2013, and you see the program of the 2013 conference in German language. That was the first conference that we did at the Heinrich Böll Stiftung in Berlin. So they gave us the, what's that? Oh, 2113, oh my God, even a typo in there. Even a typo in there, wonderful. That's what happens when you're under stress and need to prepare the slides for the conference. Okay, so it's 2013, just to be clear, and we're not talking about a different different time scale here. Different millennium here. But you already see, that was really the idea of testing the waters. Is there enough appetite in this world for people to think about a real leapfrog in reporting at that time? Knowing from the 2012 Rio Plus 20 conference and the outcome document called The Future We Want, where we looked at each other and said, that's going to take forever. If it's just about the future we want, it's really about the future we design, in a way. So is there enough appetite of a big enough group of people to actually work on this? Just looking at the plateauing in sustainability reporting, in rankings, ratings, indices, management, stakeholder theory and management theory around how to solve this challenge. And if you just look at that full room, yes, there was appetite. And that gave us the sort of boost to really move forward into 2014, where it was really very much from this starting of soul searching to developing the right structures of how are we now going to tackle this issue? How are we going to work towards solving, the issue that we had in front of us? Really aligning an information infrastructure, or at that point we still thought reporting towards what's necessary for a green, inclusive, and open economy. That was at the Microsoft Accelerator in Berlin, and it was really talking about the future of sustainability reporting and trying to give structure to the work that we had to do. And you see a couple of people there on these pictures which tell you who was involved. It was the ex-CEO of Ernst Lichteringen, who unfortunately passed away last year. We had the new incoming CEO of GRI at that time, and we had John Elkington. That was the conference where the LSD thing started, where he said, this is really like LSD. And I think it was your first conference, right, Tjerd, where you were as well. And he was giving us his three-dimensional picture of how disclosure needs to look in the future. And we continued that in 2015, again at the Microsoft Accelerator. But that was the year when we said, okay, I think we know what our work ecosystem needs to look like. We need to work on these different pillars that will become the so-called blueprints. And we needed to become a not-for-profit organization just simply because of the fact that we wanted to safeguard all the IP that we're going to collect and going to structure and going to reshuffle into these blueprints. And that is also the basis of being able to offer all the outcomes of our work as global public goods. So you can find them on our website, you can download them. They're for everybody, there's no fencing, there's no money involved. It is for you. Because you, in the way, also helped to create it. We were just structuring, facilitating, and putting our little thoughts into that as well, coming out with these blueprints. And then in 2015, again, we had a wonderful group of speakers there. For example, Alan White, the co-founder of GRI, and always a very, very dear mentor to me. He has, really inspired me all over the years to get us to what is really necessary. And the sustainability context principle in the GRI guidelines is one of these examples where there's a very wise decision at a point, already 2002, to implement that, where he was saying, well, we might not have all the information we need yet, but without sustainability context, there will never be sustainability. So let's keep this. So very wise, very forward-looking man, and also an advisor to us still yet. And people like James Fullerton, which from the Capital Institute spoke at the conference. That was the conference where he said, well, you might need to change your unit of measurement. Maybe it's not the corporation. Maybe it is the bioregion that really defines success. And that helped us very much also to define this meso-level development of where we said it doesn't all happen on the micro level, on the organizational level. Most of the impact really happens at the habitat level. And you heard this coming back during these 2 days quite a bit, where we are still experimenting, and the whole idea about regeneration and really the regeneration hubs in certain habitats is an outcome of that thinking that was already produced in 2015. And many more of the luminaries that we have here that we worked with. So the outcome is really those 5 blueprints that we've been using as our work ecosystem. And you can say if you build a house, you have those 4 stilts that we ram into the ground. Those were the first 4 blueprints. And then you put the layer of the ground floor. That is the transformation journey blueprint for us. Because that is really condensing the 4 blueprints into a step-by-step process of how to implement that. That is what we've done with that. I want to now move this to Peter to take us a little bit further towards what we're going to reveal, up to the moment that we reveal it, and then Bill will take over for some later explanation.
Okay. So actually, it's quite funny because at these conferences, at these latest moments, it was a similar sequence of speakers, and all of a sudden Rolf took initiative, and then I come in, and what do I have to add? Because it's already quite well framed. So yeah, exactly. What I wanted to highlight here is just that when in 2012, we at BSD Consulting had this first mandate of the German ministry to think about the disclosure and the reporting we want in the future. It was the coincidence that we were connected at that point of time, and we joined forces. And that was actually the belief that reporting serves and can serve as a trigger for change. And this was the notion to call that reporting 3, and it was Alan White's connotation, Bill, is that correct? That he helped us to think about in which generation of disclosure are we actually in. So that's where the notion of 3, the generation 3 came in. The financial disclosure beginning in the mid-age, actually, and then the CSR, sustainability reporting coming, the second generation. And then we felt like we still have that gap, the context gap, actually, as we called that. So that's where we started with reporting 3, and consistently then advanced that towards a more ecosystem approach, multi-capital approach, which also brought us in the notion of context very much. That's why we then added this tag when we reframed actually the logo to this next generation in 2016, I guess it was. And then also adding up a couple of blueprint activities to help us advancing this transformation journey. But as Ralph already said and explained quite nicely, we had always this challenge, and increasingly this challenge, to be far away and far beyond from just pure reporting, right? So what are we talking during these days? Is it reporting? No, it's not reporting. It's much more. So what we will do in the future, we will cut out reporting from that name, delete that right part of this logo, at least, and you will see then what remains out of this conversation. What we definitely want to have is something that connects us to the past, and these 6 years have been very fundamental, right, in advancing content and connecting with you and all the stakeholders that we have been able to learn about and to co-create on that different ecosystem pieces. So what we then did is actually a little competition amongst the network, and we got 52 nominations for a new name, and did some checking about feasibilities, you know, the URL thing, and checking what is possible, if it's free, if it's readable, if it's typable, whatever. So we got the top 10 list out of that. We also included the steering board. Sarah, right? You will see what comes out of that if it's your vote. We don't know. So out of that, we had the top 10 list, the short list of that, and finally got the result, which was very, very convincing 5 out of 8, right? So, here it is. That's it.
So as Peter said, we wanted to retain a tie into our past because in some ways we realized that we already had built a lot of brand value, so to speak. And we were already using r3.0 all the time. And so since making this decision, I've realized, I just continue to write r3.0 after I've established reporting 3.0. So this maintains continuity while also signaling that we're not just covering reporting. And every time, no matter how much we stressed it, we'd go through long conversations, and we'd get to the end of the conversation with a funder or with a potential partner, and they'd be like, well, but reporting isn't really what we do. And we'd be like, yes. So the r3.0 is really intended to, for now, the R's represent redesign of a new economic system, that we've always looked at that. And to focus on creating resilience of ecological and social systems. We've always done that, and we're accentuating our focus on that. And as you can tell from this conference, it really all is about creating regeneration beyond this baseline of social and ecological sustainability thresholds and moving into thrivability. So this is something that we got support on. So here is the winner of our contest. So this resulted from a Transformation Journey program dinner where we were really talking about this in depth, and that was the first time that Adam said, you know, guys, and Adam is a communications professional, so this did come with a kind of stamp of professional imprimatur on it. You know, this is what Adam literally wrote into us. And we found that that was, when we looked at all of these 52 submissions, whittled it down to 10 that we ran by our steering board. The steering board gave strong support for this notion of r3.0. And we want to thank Adam for making this submission and helping to hone in the thinking and the brand. So if you could just stand up for one moment, Adam. Thank you. Okay. And so final thanks to Alexandra, our amazing webmaster, who has spent, in addition to, as if it wasn't enough to be organizing a conference, to simultaneously be building out the skeleton of our new website. So this is what our website will be looking like in the future. It's not going to launch immediately, so we have it ready to roll, and when, after a well-deserved vacation, Alexandra and Ralph come back, we will be launching that. So we encourage everyone to sign up for our newsletter and get notifications. We imagine most of you are, but just in case not, please do sign up for our newsletter and get notifications about when that new website goes live. So there you have it. You can tweet it out. It is official. We no longer have to say that we'll kill you if we tell you what the name is. So thank you very much.